What's up, YouTube land, and fuck my camera, I guess. Let's try this again. What's up, YouTube land? Last Disbelief here, and today I have probably what is the best real grade imaginable. That is the real grade RX-78-2 version 2.0. At one point did have the 1.0. I freaking hated it. So, I stayed away from it. I gave it away actually a little while after I built it to a friend who needed it as replacement parts. So, meh. Could care less. Anyways, this is the 2.0. Nowhere near what the 1.0 was. And yes, I've got it with the Launcher Striker pack. I will go over why I have it with that here in a second. But, oh yeah. I did break my hand, so you will see a brace throughout this entire video. So, let's go ahead and actually get this pulled off. And then we'll get to the actual review. So, now that we've got that off, and I'll go over it again later in a later bit of the video. But, anyways, it was a god-tier experience to build this guy. It was ridiculous. I wouldn't say it was as fun as any master grade build I've done. I mean, it was quite enjoyable. Okay, I will say that much. It was. Sorry, I'm just trying to readjust my camera. What the? Oh, sorry, that's part of my stand. I'll just try and ignore that. Anyways, it was definitely enjoyable. Not so much. It was definitely more complex than I was initially thinking it was gonna be. And going into it, that's probably what, ruined a good 95% of the build. Not 95%, maybe it's good, first, when I built the head, it was awesome. Because I built the inner frame first, and then I did the outer armor. And it was a very inclusive build. And it wasn't like anything I was expecting. I say it ruined my build experience. It really didn't. The only thing that sucked was getting the little green and red stickers up on the shoulders. And the green one sucks. Let me try adding some light here. You can kind of see it reflecting. I don't have very good lighting. But, otherwise, it was really good. And, honestly, the way this thing poses is ridiculously amazing. So, I did buy this from Gundam, not Gundam Planet, the Gundam Play store, so go check them out. I will put a link in the description down below if you want to look at that. I don't get any extra money from it, but it was such a they worked with me so much, and they were amazing. So, this is not sponsored. This is my own personal preference. I do suggest check them out. They're pretty decently cheap on their Gunpla, and I will definitely order from them again. But, I did buy a damaged box version, and so when I built the fist, it wasn't damaged in any way. I broke it when I was building it. I accidentally cut off one of the ball joints, and I don't want to try and fix that and put it on there and it gets stuck. So the fist it's gone. I've got replacement parts ordered. They should be here some point, but I wanted to get this video filmed and out to y'all as soon as possible because I haven't been as active as I would have liked to. But that's not the point. That's beside the point, honestly. So, I just realized when I was building it, I put the sight in wrong. So, let's get down to his accessories. And nothing in the build disappointed me. It was amazing, honestly. So, I'll get into the few issues I have with it here shortly, but let's go ahead and look at his accessories. So, when it comes to accessories, he's got your basic of sword, board, beam rifle, as well as a hyper bazooka and a bunch of extra hands. And I figured it's time to take a look at all those individually. So when it comes to manipulators, we've got quite a few options. And again, the fist on one of the fists on mine has been broken. So that's not on 2.0, that's my fault. So don't take that into consideration when buying this. Definitely highly recommended. So you have 2 holding hands. You will have 2 fists, unless you're stupid and did mine like I did. And 2 open hands. And I'm going to gush a lot about this, and I apologize. This guy blew every expectation I had out of the water. If you're wanting an RX-78-2 and you cannot dish out the money for a master grade like the Origins, definitely get this guy. It was a pleasure to build. In addition to those accessories, and not something I went over with the rest of them, because I honestly forgot about it. It's easy to forget about. You do get a core fighter. And you do get landing gears for that core fighter. Now, mine, personally, they suck. So I don't ever have it displayed. You can't really anyways. And I mean, I'll go over that again later. But I'll go ahead and show you how to get the core fighter out. So first, the way I start out is I bend his abs so I can get to this little locking mechanism at the back. And go ahead and release it. Like so. Then, I personally use the cockpit gimmick that it has, because it says to. And you're just going to want to pull it out. Give it here. Okay. And this is your core block. It is definitely different from the 1.0s. And I do still have it. My friend didn't want that, so I will be going over that. But transformation is just like any other standard core fighter. I will do a size comparison, but it's really honestly pretty decent. And we'll go ahead and place it up there. But it was definitely, they really fixed a lot of the issues the core fighter in general has. The 3.0 had it. The real grade had it. And they fixed the issue with it. And I'll go ahead and explain that to you. So, on the 3.0 and the master grade, or the real grade, the wings were just held on by these like very weird like clip type things. The wings actually have pegs that they go on to. And on my copy, and I've transformed this thing and I've messed with it so much, it hasn't, loosened up at all. And one of my wings just disappeared, but so. You do have that, if that is, you can't display, you can, but you really can't have him in any extreme poses without the core block in it. He can just stand there without it if you really want to have the core fighter deployed. And if you can do it just right, it looks normal. So, you can, it's just, again, it just comes apart like very easily. So, let's get that core block back in there after I talk about one last gimmick it has. So part of this last gimmick is that the core fighter can help with the ab crunch that it has. Mine personally, I don't notice the difference, and it may be there and I just can't tell, because this is like the most articulated Gundam RX-78-2 I've ever had that has the transformable core block. Sorry, the Origin didn't have that feature. So, essentially, though, the way this thing is built, you've got two hinge joints in it, and I got to do this off camera because it's a little hard, that essentially give it, and you can kind of tell, give it its own ab crunch before what it already has. So, we're going to try and get this in here with the core block as is. And again, it just may not be enough for me to notice it. Like, it just doesn't lock in on mine. Okay, no. Okay, I stand corrected. I just apparently never had it right. But also on mine, let's go ahead and remove that backpack. That back clip doesn't secure in there, so there is that. So, you do have that. Okay, let's get this back on there. Everything back together. And now we will finally finish going over the rest of his accessories. You also do have a dedicated trigger finger hand. That mine's just on the beam rifle. And again, like I said, my scope's not attached correctly. It's supposed to be a plus, not multiplication sign. But it's just your simple pop it into the hand. Go ahead and get him into a pose. Get him into a pose. And there you go. And this guy is really easy to pose. Really takes nothing flat of a couple seconds. Honestly. And it is amazing how awesome this guy looks. So you do have that. And And you'll notice my V-fin's uneven. I don't know why. Mine came out of box like that. It's weird. I'm not going to try and fight it or, even it up. It's really hard to tell unless it's close up like you are now. But, you can store the beam rifle. I'm going to remove it here. On his butt by removing this. You do have to undo the hand. And in Mecha Guy Kotsu's review, he said that these hands were complicated for the sake of being complicated. And I really have had no issues with them, and I'll go through the way they work and when it comes time for the beam sabers. Crap. I say that they're not complicated as mine is giving me trouble. Anyways, you just take it and where your trigger finger goes, and just go. Slot right in there, and there you go. Onto the Hyper Bazooka. Now, for the Hyper Bazooka, this thing also got a redesign, and I'm very happy with the way they did it. For one, actually I do have the other Hyper Bazooka, so I will compare the two, as well as the two beam rifles. And I think I have the shield. So most of the accessories I can cross-compare, but you do have an extend retract gimmick, and we'll get into that, and the handle goes that much forward, and that not very far backwards. And you'll notice it has the square slot, so it can be stored on the back, right, like so. And frankly, it doesn't look too bad. So, there's that. To get him to hold it, you are going to want to grab one of the holding hands. And we're going to go ahead and remove the back of the hand. And then on mine, you'll just remove that. And this is where Mecha Guy Kotsu says it's complicated for the sake of complication. Honestly, it actually helps hold it. And mine, I've done this multiple times and have had no issues. But you'll put the back where the ball joint is on first, and then the front of the hand, and then you will attach the hand back, like so. And this right there, that right there, secures the beam, the Hyper Bazooka and everything perfectly. And then we'll just get it positioned up on the shoulder. And this is what the instructions call, or essentially it's non-firing mode, I guess. I don't know, let me pull out the instructions real quick. So it doesn't say exactly, and I'm not finding it. But really nothing left to it, or nothing much to it. So I'm not gonna worry about it, what they called it. So not super important. But if you do want it an extended pose, that's what that extension gimmick was added for. And that's to have it extended. And I like to push my bazooka back down when I'm using it. And, okay, the instructions also say, and they're supposed to be, just for the sake of showing it, the beam saber's stored back there. I was going to get to that later, but realized I can't. And it shows to have that down, and that honestly helps it so much when holding it. But he honestly holds this thing like a dream, and is, again, super easy to pose with it. Like, nothing flat. So, it is awesome the way he can pose. And again, we'll get into posability here shortly, after going over the last few accessories. Let's actually go ahead and get to the beam sabers, because those are kind of going to be necessary for the shield that I want to show off. But it's your standard beam saber, nothing special to it. You got the handle, beam effect, plugs in like so. Nothing to it, really. You don't have to disassemble the hands for this, so, you know, plug it in to the hand. And he can wield it awesomely, like with every other weapon he's had so far. And again, Nothing flat to get this guy to pose. And again, beam saber rack can move. You got a joint here and then a secondary joint to really get that working. And there goes that. Didn't want to do that yet. Meaning he can reach up and grab them, which is awesome. And again, this guy just poses amazingly and flawlessly. But I do have the original 1.0's beam effect here. All my friend needed was the main body, but do the beam effects, are they interchangeable? They kind of are. They're really loose, so really not kind of, sort of they are, but not really, so. And again, just plug into the back, like so. Nothing, just your standard beam effect, beam saber, so. Now for the last accessory in this review. We have the Gundam shield. And from the front it looks, just like your standard shield. Mine doesn't close all the way in, but when you rotate it to the back, you got like this entire frame detail on this, and not even, most mobile suits don't even have, most real grades don't even have these, even the modern ones. I mean, the way it's separated between the white and the gray, and actually, I'll grab the high new shield. Yeah, the high new shield, and I'll show you. So I just decided to grab all the real grade shields I have, other than the real grade Freedom, because it went to the back of the shelf, and I have not touched it, because, again, ERGS, but here's the back of the wing shield. It is, like, the one that gets the closest to it, honestly. Real grade Force Impulse Spec 2, mostly just gray. And the real grade High News. It gets back there, kind of, but again, most of it's just massive gray detail. So, honestly, this thing is a joy to handle. So, you do have that is how it connects to the arm. You got a swivel there. You got your handle right there. And you have that right there. And that is for another set of weapon storage that you can use for the beam. For the beam rifle. And you can hold it like that. And actually, I'll get into that real after I show you how it attaches and everything. So, essentially, you just want to take it on the back of the hand and back of the arm. It'll go on, and then it slides down. And it's got such secure connection that you can have it just like that. And it's honestly real nicely. Mecha Guy Kotsu also said you can use it kind of backwards. That looks funky, and I don't know anybody that displays their real grade 2.0 like that. It's stupid, so, not a huge fan of it. Again, not hating on Mecha Guy Kotsu, just pointing out some things that I noticed when I watched his review. Again, not trying to hate or anything. So, anyways, moving on. You also, when the instructions say to do it like this, you can also close that up, bring the handle out, and then you'll notice it's got a slot where you push it in, and it shows that he can wield it like this. And something he did point out, and I don't know if you can tell, but the wrist, that secondary wrist joint that's in there, does not hold it up very well. But if you want to, you can have him wielding it like this, if you choose to. I honestly, if I'm going to ever use this, it'll be for something I'll show again at the end of the review, because it's more so my own personal preference. And he can hold it both ways, so, with the handle and the back of the, back of the forearm thing. The way I do it is I'll take that off, and I'll shove that on there, then I'll put it in the hand, and then just connect that in there. Occasionally it does sides, it doesn't want to, there we go. And again, you do have that. So, that is the last accessory, but you do have something cool, another option for storage with the beam sabers. We'll just go ahead and remove that, hand and all. is you notice there are 2 clips in there. Maybe you'll notice that. And to you, it may look like detail, but I'll show you. The instructions say that you can plug the beam sabers into there. Something Mecha Guy Kotsu showed you can do, and I didn't honestly ever think about this till I watched his review, and I haven't had this guy super long, so it's just, if I had it before his review came out, I never would have thought about it. Because really, honestly, I don't look at how the weapons are handled to be put on there, so. But anyways, you can plug the beam sabers in there. And if you'll open that hatch, maybe I can get it open. And you plug the beam rifle in there. Okay, get that attached on there. You can have almost every weapon stored on there, but you can also plug beam effects into the beam sabers. Well, maybe. This is taking a lot longer than it should. For like a beam shield sword thing. And the beam rifle also, the way the hole is, you can plug a beam effect into there too. It's just kind of iffy. So now for the final 2 parts of this review. Articulation. So when it comes to articulation, this part of the reason I call it the new king of real grade. So does a lot of reviewers, but for one, the eyes, which are kind of dark behind there, are are completely color separated. So is the head camera. Mine's just really hard to see. Let's try maybe, let's see if maybe turning my actual camera flash on helps. Yeah, it does. So, you do have that. Anyways, when it comes to head articulation, you got quite a bit of up. You get all your flying poses. Quite a bit of down. Your standard giggity, and a full 360. The shoulders have the same thing that from what I read as the 1.0's instructions, where the shoulders can shift up and down. It's such a small adjustment, but it's lovely that it's there. You got that much up. Fa. Got that much up, which is really nice. That's at the joint. At just your base arm, that's all you got up-wise, but if you combine those two, front and the back of the shoulders move out like so, so you can get it moved forward just like that, or backwards. Full 360. Full 360. Bicep rotation. Quite a bit of elbow. And then you got your double wrist joint, which isn't super noticeable, but it is noticeable. Like, that's without it. That's with it. So, and your hands are on your standard ball joint. Abs. Now, this is what I've been told. This is what the instructions and everything I watched, from Gundam.info showed was supposed to be ridiculous on this kit. And they were not joking. When you combined, like, all 3 of these, you get an unearthly amount of, like, bend. Hit some, like, some JoJo level poses. Like, it's ridiculous. It's awesome, but ridiculous. Nobody needs that much amount of posing, but this guy does. Full 360. Front skirts move up that far. Side skirts can move around a little bit, and you got to forward backwards, but they get out of the way, and the back skirts move back that much. Leg it's got a dropping mechanism like most rail grades, so you got that much forward, that much out to the side, that much back, but you drop this down, and you really go for it, and you absolutely screw up the freaking front skirts, you get a lot. And it's really hard, and I'm not going to try and do this on camera because it's pain. It does have, it can get more of an ab crunch. Oh, yeah, and side to side. You can get more of an ab crunch by activating this, like, moving mechanism in the bottom of in the waist. So, let's go ahead and actually remove the leg, make this a little bit easier to see. You get quite a bit of knee boot, and I love the way that it works. It reminds me a lot of the high news bend. You got 1, 2, 3 overall bends. You got an amazing ankle pivot, and I know you can't really see that well, especially because my camera's up some, so give me just a second. Now that this is farther down, we'll look at, you get quite a good amount of forward. Like, the toe is still touching the ground. You can hit Michael Jackson levels of bend. You got a good amount of backwards, and then again, your side to side is ridiculously awesome. And again, you've got just 1 joint of toe bend. You have like 2. So really make those like stop motion walks look natural. So that's the articulation, and it is really decent articulation. Like, he can hit whatever pose you want. So really, I have no qualms with it. Now, back to what happened in the first part of this video. He has the high-grade backpack adapter. I have the high-grade to seed backpack adapter that I modified. I went out a while ago and bought the real grade Sky Grasper because I wanted the Sword and Launcher Striker packs for a kit bash I'm working on. Let's just say I have to order another, I don't have to order another one, I just needed the Sword Striker pack, but I modified the backpack of the Launcher Striker pack to fit into here. You know what that means? He can become the Launcher Gundam. And if you really want to BS the whole look even further, because no, you don't have to BS this much unless you're, unwilling to modify a backpack, which is fine, because he can hold it. Even if you remove the entire backpack, he can hold it really well. But if you want to BS it, and I mean really BS it, you can kind of, and this is just by complete sheer friction, add the shoulder armor. And this is, to my knowledge, the only one that you can do. I haven't tried the Launcher Striker pack, or the Sword Striker pack, because, again, I don't want to mess with that. But this is, I cannot tell you how much I recommend this guy. It was amazing to build and awesome. And I apologize for all these long hiatuses I've been taking. I'm a senior in school right now. It's ridiculously hard. I'm hoping after May I can really get into reviewing some of these master grades I have built. Especially stuff like I've recently built. And actually, I'll show you. The master grade Sword Impulse. Beautiful on my shelf. So, again, recommend the kit. That's my take on it. And we all know what people tell you to do at the end of the end of these videos. Go ahead and like and subscribe. And I will see y'all next time. Also, thank you to everybody who subscribed to me. I've reached 150 subscribers. I plan on doing a Transformer review, like I said a while back. It may not happen, I just don't have any anymore. I got rid of them because I needed shelves for my Gundams. But no, I think for my 150 subscribers, I will review him. the MG Barbatos. So, let me know down in the comments if y'all want that, and I'm always open to emails, so if you got any personal requests, I will try and take them, but no. I believe that's it for this review, and thank you very much.